And the hope would be, especially as we talked about like turn-based action combat at the start of this podcast, hope would be is like maybe if Tactics can find a whole new audience, we can get some more there could be a Final Fantasy Tactics 2, like let's let them, kind of really build these things that a lot of people want. Yeah, Mugen, Yoshi P, what's your vibe on him right now?
I think he's great, man. Like I said before, like I always wanted to see what he could do. I think 16, in my personal opinion, it did not scratch that itch, or it wasn't something that I really expected from Yoshi P. Because I remember when they asked him like if he was in charge of a Final Fantasy, how would his Final Fantasy would be, and I was like, I'm all up for a Final Fantasy from Yoshi P. But 16 didn't end up being the type of Final Fantasy game that I wanted from this guy and everything. But I would love to still see him take another stab at it and stuff. But as I said before, like the amount of pressure that this man had, I can see this guy experiencing burnout or creativity burnout and stuff like that. I think if you allow this man, give him some breathing room, or give him a partner, or give him a team that's just as capable and competent, so he can, delegate some of that, so he can actually focus on where he really wants to work on. I think he can really put out some bangers if he has that breathing space, so.
Craig, you got any thoughts on this subject?
I don't think it's good to put too much stuff on one person. That's a pretty simple take, I know, but like people who are like really good at one thing, just like let them do the one thing and like make you a bunch of money, and then go find other people to make you more money other ways,
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I see it. I don't know. I feel like I've never blamed him directly for anything really since A Realm Reborn, because I know like he's doing the best with what he's got.
Mm-hmm.
And except for Blitzball, that's totally his fault.
That is his fault. He talked about it openly, I think, too much, and then it's like, all right, and now it's been 6 years, and we're like, all right, I'm giving up hope.
And that's not a meme. I actually want Blitzball.
Oh no, I would love to see Blitzball come back. All right, I've got good news for everybody here. Our budget is unlimited. We can come up with any ideas of what we want to see them invest into Final Fantasy 14. To make the game, what we would hope it would be. Obviously, when it's all said and done, these are just random thoughts. Anything that I suggest, I want to let people know, are absolutely difficult to do. But first, I want to focus in on with this unlimited budget that we all have at our in this imaginary hypothetical. Let's focus in on jobs, job identity, and 8.0. 8.0 is the next expansion. I'm assuming that there's going to be a fan fest sometime this year that's going to start highlighting and breaking down that aspect. 8.0, new jobs. 1, 2, none. What do? You have no limitations. You can dream up the wildest dreams. And I want to start with Cole to see if he's got any expectations, because I think even in your video, and correct me if either was your video or your post, you were talking about 8.0 is going to be some kind of, job identity balancing patch. So they communicated that to you guys at the media tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is 8.0 job identity, new jobs, or run wild, man?
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is going to be obviously super duper biased, but Summoner was reworked in Endwalker to not be a pet job. You don't have a pet job. I think one of the most important things is to get like a fully fledged pet job in here. I know Beastmaster's a thing, but it's a limited job. You know that you can't take that into any current content, not even current open world maps. You'll just get destroyed or hunt trains or that. So I really think that Beastmaster's great, but I think that what we need is a fully fledged pet job for that. I also think that damage over time playstyles should be brought back, because like these are staples in many other MMORPGs. I think you'd be hard pressed to not find a current MMORPG without like pets or dots. Like World of Warcraft has a bunch. Guild Wars 2 has. They have at least Mechanist, Necromancer, and oh my god, my brain just shut off. I'm trying to juggle through my thoughts, but like it's just very weird that 14 scrapped that. I think another thing would be healer homogenization really needs to be broken up. I think that there needs to be more clear difference between the healers. I think the berry healer, Sage and Scholar, while they do have some differences for sure, they're also very, very similar. But I think more than even that is that healer rotations, like the damage rotation, I would put that in quotes if I could, is really spamming one button across all the healers. And I think that would be fine if it was on one healer, like White Mage. Like White Mage was classically the more friendly healer.
Exactly. So it's like, hey, this is what you have, and then the other one, 100%. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I don't want to like lose accessibility, but it's just like I look at Scholar, and Scholar, do I think we should go back to the days of A Realm Reborn with Cleric Stance? God, no. But it's just like, I think Stormblood struck a nice middle ground where it wasn't just Broil spam, because it's like, in terms of healer design, in Savage and Ultimates, okay, I really do enjoy that. But if you even look at Occult Crescent, or dare I say not Eureka Orthos, the new one, I think it's like Pilgrim's Passageway or whatever it's called. Like, I don't want to do that content because it is so painful, because I literally am pressing one button over and over again. So that's another thing that I'd totally scrap. And then with any new expansion, I think it was even Yoshi P himself that said this, they need to have a new DPS just because that's what gets people hyped. So I think that would go back to the pet. In terms of tanks, I'm not a big tank player, but so I would defer to Xenosis on a lot of this. But I think that tanks, a lot of them play a lot of very samey, like Dark Knight and Warrior, very, very samey. So I'd probably address it like that. I think that overall we need to also look at the 2-minute meta, which if I didn't mention that, people would be like, why didn't he mention that? I think that everything just slots together a little bit too perfectly, and it leads to things just being really stripped down and homogenized. It's like even between, like, say, the melee DPS, it's just like, so I think just breaking up things, taking more risks. I think Occult Crescent Phantom Jobs is a great example of that. Where's the risks? Where's the experimentation? It's like, give us some flair. Keep some easy jobs, but give us something.
Mugen, unlimited budget. What do you do?
Bro, oh man, this is kind of tough, because like I said, I haven't really caught up on it, and plus there's a lot of jobs variety for me since I'm way back, in the past when it comes to expansions and stuff like that. I'm a tank guy, I always been tank, love tank. It's one hell of a responsibility and everything, but I don't know. I like to see them, I guess pull some jobs from Final Fantasy Tactics and see how they can mesh, some of the jobs into Final Fantasy 14. I just think that would be pretty cool. But I really don't have any ideas or suggestions, because I haven't really played it as much as you guys, so I really wouldn't know what to say or what I really would want. Yeah,
fair. Is there a specific job that, like, from your time with Final Fantasy, you brought up tactics, for example, that you would love to see them introduce in 8.0? That would get you to be like, oh, I'm back. Like,
yeah. But let me see. But I mean, there's different interpretation, because I mean, Knight, you got Paladin, so I like to see what they do with, like, Calculator, if they put something like that in Final Fantasy 14.
I think they'd have to go with the limited job if they're going to do something like
Calculator.
Yeah. Maybe they could do that. They could probably come up with some interpretation of it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it for me. Yeah.
Scrag, do you got any thoughts? Unlimited budget, ready to rock and roll 8.0?
Specifically for jobs?
Yeah, jobs, job identity, like the whole that. I kind of package that also kind of with battle system, because that's all, like, in my mind, interrelated.
Okay, so first off, Viper was a cop out. Give me a real Corsair, please.